Lord be with you, and a warm welcome to you from all of us here at Powers Court with Kilbride. It's Sunday, the 23rd of October, and today we take a look at the Gospel for today, the parable that Jesus tells about the Pharisee and the tax collector, and take a few minutes just to think about our glorious imperfections and what is the gospel message in the middle of all of this saying to us today. But first, as we draw into the presence of God wherever we may be this day, let's just pause for a moment and take a breath.
Gospel reading is taken from Luke chapter 18, starting at verse 9. He also told this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and regarded others with contempt. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee, standing by himself, was praying thus: God, I thank you that I am not like other people, thieves, rogues, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give 1/10 of all my income. But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even look up at heaven, but was beating his breast and saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his home justified rather than the other. For all who exalt themselves will be humbled, but all who humble themselves will be exalted. This is the word of the Lord.
If there is such a thing as human perfection, surely it is in our ability to be able to recognize and accept and handle the imperfections around us and indeed within ourselves. What a clever place for God to hide holiness, so that only the humble can find it. Perhaps then a truly perfect human being is somebody who can accept imperfection rather than think that they rise above it. Today we encounter these two characteristics, don't we, in the Pharisee and the tax collector. In the 4th century, Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire, and you can imagine what the Roman Empire stood for at that time. And the spirituality of imperfection, which was at the heart of Jesus' lifetime and his teachings, became a type of a subtext, many would say. If you align spirituality with imperial thinking, then it leaves a spirituality of imperfection and becomes a spirituality of perfection, of achievement, of discipline, of accomplishment, of willpower, of performance, because that is how empires are built and maintained. When the church began to align with this type of power, several went off into the deserts of Syria and Egypt in order to try and maintain a more simplistic lifestyle around the teachings of Christ himself. And so we have the desert fathers and mothers. We have, along the timeline of history, the development of the type of Celtic spirituality. And we have amazing people. I could think of one being Francis of Assisi, who had that more humble of heart, connecting with all living things type of a spirituality about him. He's only one of many people. Another such person was French Carmelite nun, Thérèse of Lisieux. One of Thérèse's favourite parables was that of the Pharisee and the tax collector, and she would, I suppose, imitate the publican or the tax collector, embracing her sinfulness, and she was willing to, as she said herself, bear with myself, such as I am, with all my imperfections, as did the publican, with confidence that what pleases God is that he sees me loving my littleness and my inner poverty, in the blind hope that I have his mercy. to raise, she could not climb the rough stairway of perfection, but God's arms would lift her. This parable today is one of encouragement, actually. There is nothing that we can do, I would tell you, that would turn God away from us. And He is love, He is understanding, and He is far greater than we give Him credit for whenever we go wrong in this life. Please never run away from Him thinking that you have failed. Rather, recognize your imperfections, as we all need to recognize our imperfections, and turn to Him reliant on His grace. There should never be an hour in your life where grace is not needed. None of us expect a downward path to spiritual growth, because we have been brought up in a world where to prosper is to get things right, and to attain perfection is the aim. But in actual fact, at the heart of Jesus' message is that we need to humble ourselves like the tax collector. We need to come before God. We need to actually fall in order to gain a different consciousness, a different understanding, a spiritual growth. And if you look back at the things that might have happened to you in your life, you'll always find that you have grown in some way from them.